Hey everybody, Manic Expression here, doing the first video ever, the first Stop the Hate video ever. I've been asked to do this for a long time, and don't get used to this because I don't think this is going to be a regular thing, but because I never thought Stop the Hate really worked as a video series. But today is a very different kind of Stop the Hate, because I'm going to be doing a movie review. Um, my daughters and I are watching an Avengers movie every month leading up to the release of The Avengers in May of 2012. And so I figured, what the hell? Why don't I go ahead and do a review of each of these movies after I've watched them again? Because I've talked a lot about The Avengers and Stop the Hate. Um, usually praising the idea, usually getting really excited about it. Sometimes not totally agreeing in what they're doing and how they're doing it. Expressing myself in pages and pages of ranting fury. But today is going to be a review of a good movie, a really good movie. Not a great movie, but a really good movie. Today we're going to start with Captain America, First Avenger. We are watching the movies chronologically. That's why we're not getting Iron Man first. But Captain America is it's a hard movie to review for me because I really did like it. I really did like it. But it's not, to me, as good a movie as most of the other Avengers movies. It falls short. And it's hard to pinpoint a lot of the reasons why because, excuse me, it's such a good movie that and it's got such a good spirit to it that you want to give it a pass, that you want to excuse its flaws. But I'm going to try and be objective here today. We're going to start with taking a look at our heroes in the movie. Starting, of course, with Captain America himself, Chris Evans, who plays Steve Rogers in the movie. I was one of the first people to defend Chris Evans and Stop the Hate. I didn't think he'd be bad. A lot of people thought that he was going to bring his sort of smarmy douchebag persona to the role of Steve Rogers, and I had confidence that Marvel wouldn't invest in that because Captain America he has to work. In order for the Avengers to work, Captain America has to work. So I had confidence that they weren't going to screw that character up, and they didn't. Chris Evans is great as Cap. Chris Evans is phenomenal beyond anything that I thought he could do. There's a sincerity to his performance that is just absolutely up there in some of the great comic book performances. He really embodies this character. And Cap is a hard character to pull off because he's so sincere. He's always the best man in any room that he goes into. He's always noble and always does the right thing. And that can come off as really boring, you know. Cap is a character that really makes Superman look like the Punisher, you know. I mean, that's how good a person that Captain America is. And that can be boring. And Chris Evans really managed to avoid the boring thing and give a performance that was grounded, that came off realistic. You believed that this guy could exist. And you believed that he could be this good and this noble. And the key to that performance, for me, is the fact that there's no evolution to his character, which normally I would complain about, but this time I think it's good. There's no evolution to the Steve Rogers character. When he is that 90-pound weakling in the beginning of the movie, he is already Captain America. He is already um, the hero of the movie. He doesn't become a hero. He already is. and and that to me is what. And there's no, he doesn't sort of screw up at any point, which I was very worried that he would. I thought, no, there's going to be, he's going to get cocky. He's going to go, oh, I'm so strong now, I can do whatever I want. He's going to get full of himself and maybe start chasing women or maybe beat up on some guy. Um, that never happens. Chris Evans plays Steve Rogers throughout the movie from beginning to end as this sort of meek uh, and mild but still heroic and brave person. And it's fantastic. And if I had any complaints about the character of Captain America, and this is a weird complaint because I think I'd be complaining if they didn't do this. I could have done without the mask in the sort of final stage of his uniform. I know why it's there. I know it's sort of like he sees the costume as a symbol, and he wants to wear it to, have people rally behind it. I didn't feel it was necessary, and it was, to me, it was distracting because I thought, why is he wearing a mask? Everybody knows who he is. I get like a helmet. I get like what they did in Ultimates, where he's got the helmet and the goggles. Um, but I didn't care for the mask. But again, I'd probably be complaining if they didn't do it. So, but otherwise, just a perfect representation of Captain America. The other heroes, it's sort of hit and miss. Sebastian Shaw as Bucky is fine. Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter is fine. Nothing special, but they give good performances. Tommy Lee Jones and Stanley Tucci, who play mentors to Steve Rogers, are phenomenal. They're fantastic. They are just two of the best performances in any of the Avengers movies. It's just as much fun to watch them as it is to watch Chris Evans playing Captain America. Then we get to the Howling Commandos. And this is where I think the movie really missed an opportunity because the Howling Commandos are basically just shoehorned in. They're not really developed characters to the point where I don't think any of their names are ever said out loud. That's how little we get to know about them. They don't even bother to say, I read the comics, so I know who these guys are. But nobody in the movie ever says, Dum Dum Dugan. Um, Nobody ever calls Union Jack Union Jack. It's just, really, you felt like they were just in there to pay lip service to the fans. And it's, to me, they could have been any soldiers. And that, to me, that's a big problem. The term Howling Commandos, which is talked about in a lot of the Captain America publicity stuff, is never said. So what's the point of having the Howling Commandos in it if you're not going to take the time to develop the characters? And so to me, that's a pretty big complaint that I have about the movie. I mean, you talk about like X-Men: The Last Stand. Everybody talks about how a lot of the X-Men were shoehorned in there. That's nothing compared to how the Howling Commandos are treated in Captain America.